And hello, this is the Now See Here podcast. I'm your host, Jack Chris. We are recording today at CC's Coffee House in Ridgeland, Mississippi. That's right, if you're ever in Ridgeland, come to CC's and get some of the best coffee you'll ever have. I am very pleased to be joined by our actual first female guest of Now See Here. I was getting hate mail, or I guess hate emails, hate tweets, whatever you call them now, saying, what are you, some kind of male chauvinist pig? You won't let any women on your show. And so I just found a random woman off the street. No, I didn't. We have someone, this is an interesting story. Her name is Marcy Granger. Isn't that funny? I was asking you how to pronounce your name correctly. It's Granger.
Yes, sir.
Marcy Granger.
Yes, sir.
No, yes, sir.
I say it to everyone. It's a Southern habit.
I understand, but this show is national. So just say, yeah. Just
yes.
Pretend you're in Brooklyn or Yonkers. You have got a website or a Facebook page called Motivation with Marcy.
Yes, sir.
And I tell the story how we met. Our technician here, Roddy, is a friend of yours on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, Roddy's posting something every 2 minutes. I don't think Roddy has a life. He's posting on Facebook. That's what he does. And I read your story, and I said, this is interesting. This is very interesting. And I'm kind of picky about who I send friend requests to. But I said, this is someone I think, you know, I would like to meet. And I'll tell you, at the time, I thought maybe this is someone I could interview for the show. Lo and behold, here you are. So can we go to that Facebook message, Marcy, before we talk about what Motivation with Marcy is? Kind of give your background and tell us why your story means something and why it could mean something to other people.
First of all, I want to say thank you for having me. I'm really honored.
We send the bill. Just wait for the bill.
Okay, I'll be waiting for it in the mail.
You can pay me then.
Okay. So the post we were talking about was when we were talking about Jackson, Mississippi. So I'm from here, born and raised, lived here for 21 years, and then I actually moved off for 6. And about a little over a year ago, I moved back. And I was, honestly, I'm not going to lie, I was really upset that I had to move back because, you know, and I feel like we've all kind of gotten the mentality, oh, there's nothing in Mississippi, you know, there's nothing here.
I think so, yeah.
And it's really sad because you can talk to every person that lives here, and they kind of have that negative answer. And it's kind of heartbreaking, and I'll be the first to admit I was the same way. But over the
you moved to Atlanta, didn't you? Or
South Georgia.
Okay.
So I was almost on the border line, so I was really close to the beaches and things like that.
But out of Mississippi.
Right.
Right.
And luckily that did open my eyes to a lot as far as like the world and other cultures and things like that. And then when I've been back in Mississippi, the longer I've been here, the more I realized we actually have a lot of great culture, a lot of genius people. And it's just really underutilized, I feel like.
Well, look at this room, for example. No, but I think so, too. I think we are so close to things, sometimes we can't see it. Mm-hmm. And a lot of us go to an Atlanta or a Nashville or, you know, a bigger city, and we try to compare that to what we have here.
Right.
But why then did you start is it a Facebook page only, or is it a website?
So right now, I'm building a website currently, actually. I used to have a blog a long time ago, and since I shut it down, but I'm going to reopen it, relaunch it. I also have an Instagram. That's where I put most of my content right now.
And it's Motivation with
Marcy, yes, sir.
Okay, but the question is, I asked you this when we talked over the phone for a pre-interview. That sounds real professional. We had a pre-interview here at the station.
I was not prepped, I promise. I had no idea what's coming.
No, I mean, why would someone listen to you? I mean, you know, because I ask myself the same thing before I post anything on Facebook. I'm like, what, am I some kind of expert? Because Facebook has turned everybody into damn experts, and most people are not.
Correct. Yes.
So I'm not trained in this, but I've been doing it for a lot of years. So I would ask you, why would someone go to your page or read your blog?
So I'm not an expert by any means. I kind of call myself a jack of all trades. So I kind of dabble in a lot of different areas. But I'm a master of none at the moment, I say. But I think a lot of the reason why, and I've had other people tell me this, is just I'm a normal person. But on top of that, I say I'm a normal person with a big dream. And so I'm also not going to take things easily. So I'm relatable. I've had some really hard times, and I've had some good times. But regardless, I refuse to give up, and I continue to keep pushing.
So there was no like trauma or drug abuse or this, but you know, usually you hear these people being reborn in whatever sense, spiritual or physical, and then they come out with something like this.
Well, one example was so growing up, I always had a hard time like with weight. So I was always a chunkier person, that kind of thing. We live in the South. We like to eat. Come on. We like to eat that good Southern food, too.
We do.
I mean, even all the way through my junior college, I didn't even know what a protein was. I didn't know, I thought you just did crunches all day and you'd lose weight. I did every fad diet there was, from Slim Fast to whatever. And then finally, I actually learned about actual nutrition and, working out properly and things like that. So I did lose a lot of weight. And then even after that, I actually had some things happen in my life and kind of went down a downward spiral. And so I've been as low as, as far as pound wise, which I don't recommend going just by weight, but I've been as low as 132 and I've been as big as 273 pounds.
That's quite a loss.
So
that's impressive, and you feel better, I'm sure.
I mean, of course, absolutely.
But I have to ask you, are women more? I hate to use the word shame, but I don't guess there's another word, and it's probably by other women. I mean, men, a fat guy walks in, and somebody might make a joke and say, "I'll lose some weight," but women, it's you can't be overweight. You cannot be overweight. Did you face that in your life?
Absolutely.
From women mainly?
Honestly, yes. And it's kind of funny. There's even the joke that people say when girls dress up and wear makeup, they're not wearing it for a guy. They're wearing it for themselves, for other girls.
Yeah.
But it's really true. I mean, even for myself, a lot of times I'll dress up or, think about my looks even more when I know that I'm going to be around, a lot of other women. And you kind of, I don't want to say want to impress the other ones, but you all hold yourself to a higher standard, I feel like.
Okay, so you started... did anyone tell you, oh, you should write about this? Or were you just sitting down and you had an epiphany, I'm going to start actually relating my stories? And how did you build an audience? And who were you writing for? Who did you think would read what you wrote?
Honestly, myself. It's kind of, it kind of started by accident in a sense. So when I did the weight loss, I followed a lot of very professional athletes and things, and I did some challenges and stuff on social media, and so that's how I was doing the challenges every week and posting them. That was kind of part of the requirements, and just kind of sharing my journey, mainly just to keep myself accountable. Honestly, that was the only reason, and then I noticed I started getting people who were writing me, and then after the fact, I've always been a very positive person. I like to help people, and I really want to help people kind of pursue to be their best selves and reach their potentials. Because a lot of times people don't realize that what they have.
And how do you do that?
Honestly,
how do you motivate them?
Whenever I talk to them, kind of hear where they're coming from, and try to point out what they don't see in themselves. And then if it is something that I can relate to, I'll kind of hey, I've been there, I get it, But the thing is you got to keep going. And sometimes just hearing that, people are like, you know what, you're right.
But I have to ask you, and I mean, you're a good bit younger than I am. I think, and this is my opinion, I think social media has led to a lot of this because people sit behind a computer. We were just talking about, nasty things that may have been sent to us. I mean, I've been in the media since 1986, and it was nothing like what's going on in social media. I mean, people wouldn't take the time to mail a letter or call you if they were mad. Now they can send you a message.
Cyberbullies.
Right. That's right.
It is a legit thing.
So to me, the question what I'm leading up to is why use this medium? Is it because you can reach more people for the very reason that it's dangerous? You're trying to turn it into a positive sphere. And after that answer, tell us what will people find on your Facebook page or when they read your blog? What kind of material?
Okay. So that was kind of how it has progressed, is to put positivity out there and kind of, let people know that there's not just negative. There's a positive and negative to everything. But social media especially can be used in such an amazing positive way that a lot of people don't realize. Because you can reach people, on a way broader spectrum, and you can reach way more people. On top of that, you can also find people who are more relatable, who are support groups and things versus, if you can't find someone, next door.
You're going to beat that microphone up, aren't
I'm sorry.
I
talk with my hands.
That microphone's not feeling motivated. And how have people reacted? Or because I asked you yesterday, again, in our pre-show interview that I professionally conduct here on Now See Here, I asked you, look, everybody or a lot of people put up kitty pictures and memes, and after a while, it almost, you want to get sick. I mean, it's like, that's not real. Do you tell stories? Do you write yourself? Or do you do a little bit of the meme stuff? I'm not condemning you if you do or cutting you down, but what do you utilize?
I do a mixture. Mainly, I do my own photos. I post those. Every now and then, I will use quotes or things like that from other inspirational people. But for the most part, it's all my own thoughts and things like that. As far as writing, same thing. I'll tell stories because I do like to travel. So I'll tell stories of when I've traveled places or a lot of stuff. Like I said, is like workout, that kind of thing.
Well, what does
Mentality.
Marcy do when you get depressed?
I mean, it's tough. I mean, we all get there. I mean, so really it's just switching your mentality. That's all it is. And one thing that I've learned, it's kind of funny, one of the people that I follow is Greg Cardone. And one thing that he spoke about depression himself. And it just, one thing he said really changed me as far as a view on it. Because people, it's seen as a very negative light. Well, he said that he got depressed at one time. And the reason why was because that's when he realized he wasn't reaching his potential. And that's why he got depressed. And that's honestly, looking back every time that you ever get down or I've gotten down, it's because I beat myself up because I know that I can do better than what I'm doing. And so it's a mentality thing. So I look at it, okay, why am I feeling this way? Why am I beating myself up? Where can I change it? And that's the key, is to change it.
Do you realize you just described the cognitive therapy school of psychology? No, you did. You did. But the thing is, so many people now self-medicate. Mm-hmm. They either get on the Zoloft or they take, and I'm not, look, there's a need for that. Right. There's very much a need for that. But a lot of people get drunk, do illicit drugs. But, the cognitive therapists say that you've got to change your way of thinking, that it's negative thoughts that just keep, they keep coming and coming, and they feed off each other.
Correct.
And that's true in my case. I guess it's true in yours.
Absolutely. Every time that I've ever had a bad day or anything bad happen, every single time, if I could say, there's even an experiment that they've done where they've taken rice. They took 2 bowls of cooked rice. For 30 days, one of them they whispered, I hate you. The other one they whispered, I love you. And at the end of that 30 days, the one where they whispered, I hate you, was completely black. The other one was still fresh white rice. I mean, it's proven over and over again. Positivity, even if you say one positive thing every day, even when you're having a bad day, over a course of time, I can guarantee you will be a better person.
Well, and part of doing Now See Here is I wanted to bring a little civility back to talk shows, because if you turn on Fox, they're screaming at MSNBC. MSNBC is screaming at CNN. And our president, whether you love him or hate him, he's feeding the fire. He is. And he's doing what he's doing, and our culture has just been taken over by people attacking each other. And I'm assuming, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it's like walk a mile in someone else's shoes. Because, Gloria Vanderbilt passed away yesterday, I think. And she was 95, and she's the one, they've attributed the quote to her, that be nice to everyone because we're all of us are carrying hurt. Mm-hmm. It's true.
It's so true. I actually just posted something about that the other day, about everybody has some kind of hurt that they carry with them at all times.
I didn't know Gloria Vanderbilt came up with the phrase, but according to the news last night, they said she did. I'm Jack Chris. This is Now See Here. We're talking with Marcy Granger, and she has Motivation with Marcy, a Facebook page. And you're a photographer also? You take photos?
Yes, sir. So I also do digital marketing as well.
Well, tell us about that. PR, it's all about pushing that product.
So I've done it for years with, starting my own stuff personally, and then I finally realized that there is a need for it. And so being the entrepreneur that I am, I want to give back to their businesses and let them realize that there's so much potential, social media, digital-wise, and it's more cost-effective. You can reach more people to help their businesses, local businesses, thrive.
And how long have you had your business?
A little over 7 months.
And it's mainly digital photography now?
Digital marketing, social media, stuff of that kind of stuff.
Is it tough for you in that business because everybody's got, I'm holding up the phone, everybody's got one of these and everybody takes a picture? I mean, do we need a professional photographer?
It's always going to be quality. I mean, it's really going to be what you want. Yes, everyone can do it. Everyone can document it. We do have the luxury of having high quality on our phones and things like that. But still, at the end of the day, you have people who are professionals versus amateurs. I mean, you have the people who it's their true passion and their craft, and every time that will show through.
How do you become a professional photographer? And, I mean, honestly, is it just doing it over and over and experimenting with different poses or angles and that kind of thing? Or how do you do it?
Well, honestly, I think it starts out, everyone has a true craft or a calling, so you have to have that natural talent, and then on top of that, perfect it. So, I've done, you can never learn enough about anything. So, and practice makes perfect as well. So the more someone dedicates to that, and you can tell in people's photos and things if that's their true passion, but they study it, they use it every day, they implement it, and you can tell.
And I'm assuming you use your own photography on the Motivation with Marcy Facebook page, right?
Yes, sir.
And we're hoping when people hear the broadcast that they'll go and look at that. So what's ahead for you? Tell us a little bit about, you mentioned you came back to Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
You want to make it a better place.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, we don't need attrition. We do need more people coming back. So that's a positive step. And you're trying to make things more positive. What else? What do you want to do? What is your career goal? Build your business or what?
I want to build my business so where I have that virtually. Basically, I want to travel the world. But then with doing that, bring what I learn and the people I meet here. Obviously, I want to grow Mississippi. I've even started another page. It's called Entrepreneurs of Mississippi, just to get like-minded people, because like I said, I'm slowly finding them, but they kind of hide away. Get them to kind of like speak their voice and actually, okay, look, we can band together and make this a better place.
I haven't gotten an invite. Is there?
I'll get it to you. I promise. I'm sorry. I'll get it to you.
Send me that along with the check for the bill for the show. What do you think is the biggest problem or hurdle for entrepreneurs in this state? Because we did an earlier show with Edward St. Pay, who was talking about being an entrepreneur. We make up the business world. I mean, it's not Wall Street. They may have the power, but we are the ones. This country would collapse without us. Mm-hmm. So. What do you think we can do? You mentioned build a community, but what else can we do? Or what is your view of being an entrepreneur?
I think it all kind of goes back to the mentality we were talking about earlier. A lot of it is we're too scared to get out there. If they get enough, if they get brave enough to actually take the venture, they don't ever follow through a lot of times, or they're too scared to branch out to other entrepreneurs and band together. Like local businesses can work with other local businesses and bounce off each other, and I think people kind of forget the community side of that.
Well, and they have to have community to have sales.
Right.
But can I play devil's advocate?
Absolutely.
Because everybody says follow your passion, and I've written a column about that, and I said that's bunk. That's BS. No, let me tell you why, and see if you agree with me. Let's say my passion is playing the kazoo, but I'm really not that good at it. And if I sit around and play kazoo all day, the lights get turned off. My dogs don't eat, I starve, but I'm following my passion. Right. Nobody cares. Nobody listens. So how can you make your passion into your career? How did you do it? Or can you give us some tips, some motivation? That's the segue here, the motivation.
So I feel like there's two sides with that. Number one, your passion. So a lot of times, too, if you'll notice, people who pursue their passion, like if it is playing music or something like that, once you have to do it as a career, it's no longer enjoyable. Also, like they say, you should have three passions. You should have one that you enjoy, one that creates or helps you de-stress and creates peace, and one that makes you money.
I haven't heard that. How about that?
So that's the best way to survive and have the best balance and happiest life.
Well, that's why I threw away the kazoo. I might break it out on Now See Here one of these days, and that's a sure way to lose listeners, that's for sure. All right, Marcy, how can people get in touch with you? You've motivated me. By golly, I'm ready to get out there. I think it's raining outside the studios. I'll get out there and run today or do something hopefully amazing, and look for that invite from you for your page. But how can people contact you and get motivated?
First, I want to say you only live once, so why not dance in the rain?
Well, I don't like to get wet. And see, that's a cynic. You just wait. I'm a middle-aged cynic. Just wait. We don't want to get wet. How can people contact you?
Primarily, like I said, through my Instagram, which is also Motivation with Marcy. I am on Facebook. I'm also on LinkedIn and Twitter as well.
Oh, you're all over.
I'm trying to be. I'm soon going to be on YouTube, hopefully, too.
And now you're on Now See Here.
I am, and I'm very honored. Thank you.
Well, we're glad to have you, Marcy. It's Marcy Granger, and she came back to Mississippi, and we're glad she did. You're a lovely young woman. I hope I don't get sued for saying that, because in this PC world, you can't give anybody a compliment or you get sued. Don't sue me.
Absolutely.
You wouldn't get anything anyway except a kazoo. And it's not very well used. So thanks, Marcy, for being our guest. And folks, thanks for listening. It's Now See Here, the podcast. We depend on you to spread the word. Go to Facebook, like the Now See Here, HEAR page, or go to BAM South or bamsouth.org, and you can find us there as well. I'm Jack Chris. We'll be back with new episodes soon. Until then, like Marcy said, be motivated and have a great day. Thanks.